Hi, I'm Tara Rose, a graphic designer for Creative Repute, and today I'm going to show you guys how to use Photoshop. I am currently working on a zine, and Photoshop is my favorite platform when I work in zines because I can do a lot of manipulation and photo editing. A lot of the times designers don't like using Photoshop because they use all these extra steps and it's really hard to go back when they edit, but I'm going to show you guys how I productively use Photoshop. Here we have our image that's going on the cover of the zine, and I took a really bad picture of it, but that's okay because Photoshop, we can get out this background. And a lot of people tend to, when they first use Photoshop, they use the eraser tool, which, as you can see from this pop-up, you have to make it a rasterized object. And if you click OK, you can then erase it, but then say I accidentally erased that, you have to do Command Z and go all the way back. And that's just a lot of different steps that is just really unproductive when it comes to Photoshop. Meanwhile, clipping masks are going to be your best friend. If you go into the quick selection tool or even the magic wand, you can select whatever you like and just select what I need to. This is stuff that I want to get rid of, and all you have to do is click the icon down here and then it gets rid of that. For me, I'm going to do Command Shift I to invert it, and I'm going to use the clipping mask, and then it gets rid of this background. However, if I want it back at any time, all you have to do is click on this layer, toggle between the black and white swatches with your brush, with your paintbrush tool, that's big, with your paintbrush tool, and go over it. The white brings it back and the black gets rid of it. For this sake, we're just getting rid of, this background. And this is looking pretty good, but I don't like this background color from the image. Now, instead of using the clipping mask and getting rid of all that, there's all these details that maybe I don't want to get rid of, but what we can use is an adjustment layer. Now, a lot of people will go to the image adjustments and use these adjustment layers. I'm going to show you both ways of doing it. So for instance, if I go to adjustment layers and go to exposure, and then I play with the exposure to get it the background that I want, that's pretty close. So say I wanted to use an adjustment layer to remove these backgrounds. What I used to do is I used to make it a rasterized layer, and then I would go to image adjustments. Let's just pick a vibrance one for the sake of seeing it. Going like that. It changed the vibrance, and then we're gonna go to another thing. We're gonna just make it black and white. Here we go. There we have it. I'm not in love with it, but for me to go all the way back to the beginning, I have to do Command Z over and over again, which is just exhausting. However, if you keep it with the smart object and you go down here to the round icon, this is where all the other adjustment layers are. And what I love about that is say we do want to change the hue and saturation, we can, really play around with it. Let's just say you like that. And then it's on top, and then you can toggle between it back and forth and you're not losing your layer that you're working with. And you can also adjust it as needed, so you can add another one on top of it. For this one, we're going to do the exposure and just play around with the background that we want, kind of getting it as much to that white as possible without ruining the color. And bam. So now we have both the exposure and the hue and saturation. But if you want to see what the exposure looks like without the hue and saturation, you can just turn it off. And I actually prefer that, so I'm going to delete that layer. Again, if I did this as a rasterized layer, I would have to Command Z every single time. It would take me much longer. But with adjustment layers and working more productively in Photoshop, it helps you save a lot of time and be more creative. So let's keep playing around with this until we get what we want. Now we're just going to add in our text. This is what I have so far for the cover, but this is only the cover that I just started designing, and usually I redesign the cover once I see what the entire inside of the zine looks like. But for now, this is what I have with my adjustment layers. And the best part is that if I really want to make major changes to this, I can do it fast and easy working productively in Photoshop.